Hello, my name is Oyebade Daniel, and I'm talking on Datafication and Human Rights in Lagos State, Nigeria. What is data? Data has always been considered as an integral part of international development due to its important role in supporting developmental decisions. This was said by Inks and Shekel 2019. Teaching also viewed data as a raw material produced by abstracting the world into categories, measures, and other representational forms that constitute the building blocks from which information and knowledge are created. Data do not naturally exist, but only emerge through a process of abstraction, which means something is taken from things and is being processed. Data is a fact or information which is stored in a database. What is datafication? Datafication was coined by Cooker and Merrill 2013, which is datafication as different forms and characteristics of data. I see datafication as a process of transforming various aspects of human activities and interactions into quantifiable data that can be systematically recorded, analyzed, leveraged for various purposes. These are stated problems of datafication and human rights in Nigeria. The collection and the use of personal data brings significant human rights concerns and raise questions about privacy, freedom, and equality, which has remained unaddressed. Also, there's limited research on the education and the implication of human rights in Lagos State, Nigeria. Therefore, this research aims to investigate the education initiatives in Lagos and the implication on human rights. The aim of this research was to examine the impact of the education initiative on human rights in Lagos State, Nigeria. The objective of this research is to identify the education initiatives in Lagos and how they are integrated across sectors, to explore how the navigation practices impact privacy rights, to assess the roles of data governance framework in safeguarding human rights in the context of datafication, to evaluate the potential of datafication in human rights advocacy. The questions asked are: how is datafication being implemented and integrated into various aspects of daily life of individuals, business, and government in Nigeria? What are the potential applications of datafication on privacy and human rights of individuals and communities in Nigeria? How do existing legal and regulatory framework in Nigeria address the challenges posed by datafication concerning human rights? What strategies can be adopted to ensure that datafication in Nigeria upholds human rights? Different literatures were reviewed when making research on datafication and human rights in Lagos State, Nigeria. Shelsky and Magros 2022 explained that identification and data collection has been in existence since the 1500s, which the use of Spanish Empire collection of navigation charts, category data, and botanical illustrations as evidence of the navigation in 16th and 17th century. In recent times, the navigation has been easier to collect and easier to store. The navigation has probably influenced a wide range of academic disciplines, providing opportunities and challenges. In sciences, the navigation has provided researchers with different types of tools to study human behaviors and social structures. Theoretical framework was found during the literature review. Natural law theory, inherent human rights against potential violation of the navigation. This is a law. This is Article 12 and 17. No one shall be subjected to arbitrary interference with privacy, family, home, or correspondence, not to attack upon his honor and reputation. Everyone has the right to protection of the law against such interference and attack. The right to privacy is fundamental human right that grants individual control over their personal information and freedom from unwanted or unwarranted intrusion of their private lives. Utilitarianism, balancing individual rights with social benefits. This means everyone's happiness upholds holds equal weight. Data colonialism theory. This means data extraction as a new form of global power and exploitation. So the transformation of personal data into continuous research for profit aims as at the emergence of new economic stage. Surveillance capitalism, commodification of personal experience through data. Zuboff, she described surveillance capitalism as an economic logic in which personal data is extracted, commodified, and monetized without adequate consent, leading to ethical dilemmas and distrust within corporations and citizens. The research method chosen was content analysis because of its potential to identify systematically patterns, themes, and meanings in qualitative data. Content analysis is highly appropriate for analyzing context data from policy documents, legal frameworks, and academic sources. This research is based on secondary data to analyze existing information on datafication and human rights. Qualitative research was the approach used since the data is talking about subjective experience and social phenomena, which has to do with content analysis. Qualitative research has also allowed an in-depth explanatory inquiry into complex relationships like datafication and human rights. It has given insight about issues of privacy, surveillance, and governance. Ethical consideration used was FAT framework. FAT means fairness, accountability, and transparency. Fairness ensures diverse representation in data. Accountability traces data origin and addresses biases. Transparency clearly outlines methodology and acknowledges limitations. My research finding investigated the benefit and limitation of datafication through a systematic categorization of finding into core themes, providing insight into role in transforming privacy, governance, and empowerment landscape. This team discussed the privacy risk of datafication by drawing more legislation, theoretical analysis, and practical concerns. Timon, which is privacy and surveillance. This is where vulnerable sections are concerned. The communication of personal data is biased against individuals, which increase inequalities for not being able to access technology for preserving privacy and mechanisms for informed consent. Team 2, empowerment and activism. It showcased the transformation potential of the application for promoting social change. Team 3, governance and regulation. Good governance framework are required to manage the opportunities and risks arising from the application. Team 4, ethical implication and accountability. Unchecked biases in algorithm system highlighting the need this highlights the need for continuous monitoring and inclusive in design practices. The summary of data analysis stress that systematic intervention is necessary to break down or break through structural barriers and ensure non-discriminatory access to the tools of datafication. Datafication can also can can support rather than hinder human rights through an enabling international environment and improve governance framework. The analysis aimed to provide answers to the following research question which was discussed. The study conclude that the application has a very good potential for societal efficiency, innovation, and adequacy, but its unchecked proliferation at the same time creates significant challenges that threatens human rights. Rapid growth in the use of data-driven technologies across Nigeria underlines the increased urgency to balance the benefit of datafication with the protection of individual rights. The key issues related to privacy, inequality, governance, ethics should be addressed to develop a framework for using data consistently. The failure to create a balance will lead to severe consequence socially, economically, and legally for individuals and businesses. The study recommends the identify risk, which has to do with strengthening Nigeria data protection law, promoting ethical data practices, enhancing enforcement mechanisms, increasing public awareness, and supporting civil society efforts to ensure that application benefits society without implications or compromising individual human rights. Suggestion for further studies was looked at because Nigerian Data and Protection Bill was proposed in 2019 but was finally approved in 2023, which means there was no law guiding human rights against datafication. I perceive that most citizens and businesses in Nigeria are not familiar with the new content of the bill. Therefore, the ability to identify the violation of provision of the Data and Protection Bill is currently limited. Based on this, I suggest in 3 to 5 years, further studies should be conducted on datafication and human rights in Nigeria. The study should also focus on investigating the integration of the Nigerian Data and Protection Bill into the approach adopted by private and public organizations in utilizing the data collected. These are some of the reference I used in researching datafication and human rights in Nigeria. Thank you.